Ren Carothers here with your special Friday the 13th edition of the Future Stars Forecast. Sorry, I had to do it. But what is it with you guys and your superstitions, by the way? In horse racing, there seems to be plenty of you people who are rather superstitious. Me, I love black cats. I love calico cats, tabby cats. They're all good. And if there's a ladder, unless somebody is on it, I might accidentally bump them off. If it is the quickest way from point A to point B, I'm walking under it. Cracks on the sidewalk, I've stepped on a share of them, and my mom's back is not broken. And as for $50 bills, honey, I'm not materialistic, but I love all money, so just saying. Anyway, we have so much to get to. There are 6 Win and You're In preps that point toward the Future Stars Friday card on November 1st at Santa Anita. So we have those to talk about. I also want to kind of recap the sales toppers from the Keeneland September sale, book 1. Unless you've been under a rock, you already know who commanded the highest price and what that price was. Of course, I am talking about hip number 498, the American Pharoah filly. And that already is impressive because, as y'all know, American Pharoah, our first Grand Slam champion. He won the Triple Crown, ending a 37-year drought, then took the Breeders' Cup Classic. And this filly is out of Leslie's Lady, a modern blue hen mare of our generation. She's by Tricky Creek, but she is already in her career as a broodmare foaled Beholder, a 4-time Eclipse champion. The great thing about Beholder also is she had a tremendous career that started at 2 years old. She won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies at 2, was Eclipse champion. She won the Breeders' Cup Distaff in 2013. She won the Distaff again over Songbird in 2016. In the midst of her career, she also beat the boys in the Pacific Classic. Then you have Into Mischief, another half-sibling. He himself a Grade 1 winner and just knocking it out of the park at stud. This filly's also a half-sister to Mendelssohn, who won the 2017 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He went on at 3 to run second in the Travers Stakes and third in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. So that surface versatility is pretty impressive, going from turf to, again, being Grade 1 placed multiple times on dirt. You know, we talk about what Leslie's Lady has done as a broodmare and why this filly would command $8.2 million because of it. She was sold, consigned by Clarkland Farm and sold to Manny Pope's Whisper Hill Farm. I should also mention Beholder herself was a September yearling at Keeneland. She sold for $180,000. Looks like a bargain, right? And Mendelssohn, because of what Beholder did and with the success of Into Mischief, he was a September Keeneland yearling and he sold for $3 million. But going back to Leslie's Lady, she fills a page. So what's behind her? Well, again, she's by Tricky Creek, and her female family extends to a horse named Patelin. And Patelin is the 5th dam of Beholder, Into Mischief, Mendelssohn, the 4th dam of Leslie's Lady. But you find Patelin, who for her own career as a racehorse won the Salima, the Alcibiades, as well as the Schuylerville. You find her also in the pedigrees of Roanoke, who was a Grade 1 winner, and 2012's Kentucky Derby and Preakness champ, I'll have another, who was also later named champion 3-year-old of that year. So that's, I think, a pretty cool connection. But anyway, again, that was our sales topper. She made history doing it, the highest price filly to ever go through the Keeneland September yearling sale. Under her, and you would have thought that this was a pretty big price, was hip number 274. This is a colt consigned by Eaton Sales, agent for Stone Street, bred and raised, and purchased by Godolphin, $4.1 million. This is a son of Curlin. Curlin, of course, is a Hall of Famer, and he, by the way, has just been so highly desirable in these sales as of late. It's pretty remarkable. This colt is out of Bounding. And Bounding is a champion sprinter in New Zealand and a daughter of Lonhro. And it's interesting that Godolphin picked up this colt because they also stand Lonhro. Lonhro himself was a champion miler in Australia. I should mention that because you've got that speed there. But with Curlin, even though he's a son of Smart Strike, he he obviously won at a distance multiple times, so you've got the stamina there. Bounding herself, not only was she a champion sprinter, but she's also a half-sister to this year's Epsom Derby champ, Anthony Van Dyck. So that's pretty cool, right? So that is hip number 274 by Curlin, out of Bounding by Lonhro, and sold for $4.1 million. Moving on to hip 258. It was another colt, this one consigned by Brereton Jones, Adri Stud, purchased by Godolphin again for $2.9 million. This is a half-brother to Believe in Royalty, who won the Ellis Park Derby. He was also second in the Grade 3 Oklahoma Derby. This colt is by Warfront. Warfront won the Alfred G. Vanderbilt, which a lot of people seem to forget that Warfront's success came on dirt. He's just been such a great turf sire, but he also is the sire of Omaha Beach, who's done really well on the dirt, obviously, and War of Will, who won the Preakness. But going on, again, this colt's by Warfront, and he's out of 2012's Kentucky Oaks winner, Believe You Can. And it's kind of cool because 10 years earlier, her sire, Proud Citizen, was second to War Emblem in the Kentucky Derby. So very nice pedigree there. This is the type of pedigree you want to find for a potential Derby horse. Moving on, because those are your three top horses of Book 1. I should also mention that they had a dark day yesterday, Thursday. They picked the sale back up with Book 2 today, and the sale will run through September 22nd. Now, again, 6 Win In You're In opportunities coming up this weekend, starting on Saturday, tomorrow at Churchill Downs. We're going to talk about the Grade 2 $200,000 Pocahontas Stakes. The 3 Portrait and the 6 Morning Gold are your 3-1 morning line favorites. We'll talk about Portrait first, just because she comes first in the field. She is owned by Ellen J. Foxwoods, trained by Brad Cox, and Sean Bridgman has the call. It switched from turf to dirt, and the addition of blinkers saw her buyers jump from 56 on debut to an 81 with a 12.5 length score at Ellis Park. And the main track success does not surprise, because Portrait's a daughter of 2012's Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile champ Tapizar. And out of stakes winner My Bellamy, she won the Francis Slocum Stakes. That mare is by 2005's Wood Memorial winner Bellamy Road, so it's dirt. Other black type runners in the family do include Grade 3 winner Our Holiday Mood. She won the Hurricane Birdie. Great Grandma, Grade 3 winner Polish Holiday. She won the Martha Washington Handicap. And Great Great Grandma, Grade 3 winner Kapalua Butterfly. She won the Modesty. So there's some turf. But yeah, this filly just really excelled when getting that surface switch. And again, the addition of blinkers. As I said, her 3-1 favorite is Morning Gold. This one's owned by C&H Diamond Racing, trained by Kenny McPeak and ridden by Jose Ortiz. She's going to actually be making her first start on dirt, and with the addition of Lasix. She was second on debut at Saratoga to Sweet Melania, who was recently beaten just a mere neck by Cristal in the P.G. Johnson, earning a 71 Beyer. Morning Gold won her second start on the front end, crossing the wire 5 1/4 lengths in front of Apparate, notching an 80 Beyer. And Apparate was next fifth in that stakes race I just mentioned, the P.G. Johnson. Micheline, who was third that day, she won the Sorority Stakes next out at Monmouth, and that does sound impressive to win the stakes next out, but the Beyer did come back at 61. Still, what you really got to appreciate with Morning Gold, and with this race being a mile and a 16th, which is the same distance that these fillies, or that the fillies are going to be contesting in the juvenile fillies, she's the only filly to race at the distance, and her pedigree also supports that she has the type of stamina that can carry some speed. She's by Grade 1 winner Morning Line, and this is pretty interesting to me because, again, her starts have been on turf. This is going to be her first start on dirt, yet she's got a really nice dirt pedigree. Again, by Morning Line. Morning Line is by 2-time Breeders' Cup Classic champion and Hall of Famer Tiz Now. Morning Line is also out of an AP Indy mare, and AP Indy, of course, won the Breeders' Cup Classic. So plenty of stamina there. Morning Line was himself a Grade 1 winner. He won the Carter Handicap, and he was second, by the way, in the 2010 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. This filly's dam is Woodford County, and she was an unraced daughter of Indian Charlie. Indian Charlie won 4 of 5 starts, including the 1998 Santa Anita Derby. His only loss was a 3rd place finish in the Kentucky Derby. So there you have more dirt, and you also have more precociousness because, as you recall, Indian Charlie is also the sire of Uncle Mo, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and was champion 2-year-old. So again, just grade 1 class, precociousness, stamina. Now moving on in this pedigree, the 2nd and 3rd dams were only placed, but the latter, her great-grandma, is a full sister to multiple grade 1 winner and multimillionaire Seeking the Gold. And he won the Super Derby, the Dwyer. He was second to Ali Sheba in the 1988 Breeders' Cup Classic. Morning Gold's 3rd dam is also a half-sister to Fast Play. And Fast Play won the 1988 Remsen in the Breeders' Futurity. Moving on in the pedigree, Morning Gold's 4th dam is Con Game, a daughter of the great buck passer, and is a half-sister to 1967's champion 2-year-old filly, Queen of the Stage, and to Reviewer. Reviewer won the 1968 Sapling and the Saratoga Special, but you may remember him best as being the sire of the legendary Ruffian. But you know, another horse I'm also intrigued by is just to this filly's outside, and that is British Idiom. She's another Brad Cox entry, this time for Michael Dubb, the Elkstone Group, Madacat, and Bethlehem Stable. Arad Ortiz will be aboard. She won her debut wearing blinkers, going 6 furlongs at Saratoga. She got a 70 buyer. She finished 3.5 lengths in front of Miss Marissa. And Miss Marissa just wired a maiden special weight field at Belmont, scoring by 5 lengths and getting a 77 buyer. So that's pretty flattering. The blinks stay on for start number 2. She gets Lasix also. This filly is by grade 2 winner, grade 1 winner, grade 1 placed, Flashback. And he's a son of Tappet. A horse I always say needs no introduction as a sire. Flashback won the 2013 Robert B. Lewis. He was second in the Santa Anita Derby. This filly's dam, Rose and Shine. Not Rise and Shine, but Rose and Shine. She won multiple stakes at Woodbine. She's a daughter of Mr. Sakaguchi. And if you don't remember him, that's okay. He didn't have an illustrious racing career, but the cool thing about this horse is that he is a son of Stormcat and out of a half-sister to AP Indian Summer Squall. So that's why he got to go to the shed. British Idiom's 2nd dam, Yellow English Rose, is a half-sister to grade 3 winner Princess Pytrina. And her wins include the Princess Rooney Handicap. And the family also includes Apple Blossom Handicap winner Miss Baja, Fleur de Lis victress Stoneleys Hope, and Peace and War, who won the 2014 Darley Alcibiades. The funny thing is that this exact ownership group actually lost the number 1 horse, Shady Lee, for $75,000 at the claim box. And that was off a winning debut effort. She scored by 3 1/4 lengths, got a 73 buyer, and that was going 5.5 furlongs at Saratoga. And I gotta tell you, at 10-1, stretching out, I'm kind of intrigued by her. Mike Maker is her new conditioner. David Staudacher, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, is her new owner, and Julian Leperoux takes the call. She is a daughter of Declaration of War. He was a multiple Group 1 winner, won the Queen Anne Stakes, the Juddmonte International. We've gone over this before, but it's still pretty cool. He capped his career with his dirt debut in the Breeders' Cup Classic, in which he was in that 3-horse photo finish, just a head short of Mucho Macho Man and Will Take Charge. And the other thing about this filly's pedigree that's pretty neat is that her dam, She Be a Little Wild, is by Wood Memorial victor and prepotent sire Tappet, and she's out of 2009's Eclipse champion 2-year-old filly and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner She Be Wild. So right there you've got the grade 1 2-year-old class, and a filly that, hey, there was no shame in her game first out, even though it was a claiming race. It wasn't like it was a low level. She was claimed for $75,000. So a horse that could potentially put up an upset. Looking at the Iroquois, talking about the boys, this race, of course, is going to be focused, all the attention is going to be focused on Dennis's moment. But, I mean, this horse, he's a worthy 9-5 favorite. Lots of hype around him before his debut, unfortunately. It was at Churchill Downs. He clipped heels, lost Robbie Alvarado. So we didn't get to see what everybody was talking about until his next start, which was at Ellis Park. And boy, did he just blow the doors off that field right out of the gate. He never looked back. He won by 19 1/4 lengths. 97 Beyer, and that is currently the top Beyer of any juvenile this year. I think the second highest is a 94 with 8 rings. But this horse has a lovely balance of speed and stamina in the pedigree. He's by Tis Now, again, the only horse to have ever won the Breeders' Cup Classic twice, though Zenyatta was very, very close. Whisker. And Tis Now, obviously is a Hall of Famer. And then this horse is out of a mare named Transplended. She's a daughter of the speedy, elusive quality. He won the Poker and the Jaipur handicaps. Those were on turf, but still. Transplended is a 3/4 sister to Grade 3 winner Times Mistress. And their female family includes multi-millionaire Golden Pheasant, whose Grade 1 wins include the 1990 Arlington Million and the 91 Japan Cup. The second choice on the morning line is number 4, Rowdy Yates at 7-2 for Steve Asmussen, Alan N. Racing, and Tyler Bays will be riding. He's going to be making the 4th start of his career. He debuted at Churchill. He scored by 4 3/4 lengths. And next was just 3/4 of a length off Phantom Boss in the Grade 3 Bashford Manor. And then after that, he won the Ellis Park Juvenile by 2 1/4 lengths over fellow entrant in this race, Let Me Know. And Rowdy Yates got an 84 Beyer for that. The Ellis Park Juvenile has produced 2 next out winners in Jerseytown Angel, who was 4th that day, and 2 Last Words. 2 Last Words was second to last in the Ellis Park Juvenile. But he won the Hilldale Stakes at Indiana Grand next out with a Beyer jump from 36 to 70. So that's quite the improvement there. As far as pedigree goes, Rowdy Yates is by Morning Line. We already discussed Morning Line, but to refresh your memory, he is by Tis Now, and then he's out of a mare by AP Indy. He himself was a Grade 1 winner. He won the Carter handicap, and he was also second in the 2010 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Rowdy Yates' dam is Spring Station, and she's an unraced daughter of Grade 1 winner Yes, It's True. He won the Sapling and the Hollywood Juvenile Championship at 2 years old. Spring Station's half-sister, Rich Mommy, won the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl. His second dam is a half-sister to Motor City, and this is what's pretty cool. Again, Rowdy Yates, second dam, that's his grandmother, half-sister to Motor City. He won the 2011 edition of the Iroquois. So maybe there's a little bit of an, heir apparent thing going on here. As you trace this female family back, you find some pretty impressive names. Among them, the sizzling Mount Livermore. His wins include the Carter, the Fall Highway, the Jaipur. He was 3rd in the 1985 Breeders' Cup Sprint, and he went on to sire Eclipse and Breeders' Cup champions Eliza, who won the 92 Juvenile Fillies, Orientate, who in 2002 won the Sprint, as well as 2-time champion sprinter and Hall of Famer Housebuster. So that's pretty cool right there. I'm a huge fan of Mount Livermore. And then let's talk about the horse that's on the rail. I mean, the horse is 10-1, has the dreaded 1 hole, but I wouldn't count Zyramid out to get a piece of this. He too is trained by Steve Asmussen. Santana retains the mount. And yeah, he was beaten 12 1/4 lengths in the Saratoga Special, but it's really hard for me to ignore the pedigree potential here. He's a son of Grade 1 winner City Zip, who's already sired, multiple Breeders' Cup champions. Bulletin won the 2018 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint last year. He's the sire of Finest City. She won the 2016 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, and she was Eclipse champion, female sprinter. He's the sire of Catch a Glimpse, 2015's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner. She was also Sovereign Horse of the Year and Champion Grass Mare and Champion 2-year-old filly. City Zip is also the sire of Day at the Spa, who won the 2014 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. She was Eclipse Champion Grass Mare. And Work All Week, who won the 2014 Breeders' Cup Sprint and was Eclipse Champion Sprinter. Now, as far as the female family goes, Zyramid is out of Ravi's Song. She's a stakes-winning Grade 3 place daughter of 1995's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Champion Unbridled Song, who went on to be a tremendous sire. The Colt second dam is by Breeders' Cup champion and Hall of Famer AP Indy, and her name is Rowdy. And you might remember her because she won nearly $2 million on the track. She finished in the money in 22 of 26 starts, 11 of those wins, including the Grade 2 Molly Pitcher. Rowdy is also a half-sister to Half Queen, who's the dam of champion Half Bridled. And Half Bridled was undefeated in 4 starts at 2. She won the Del Mar Debutante, the Oak Leaf, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and was named 2003's Eclipse Champion 2-year-old filly. Additionally, Rowdy is a half to Bayou Storm, who's the grandmother of multi-millionaire M. Shawish, a Grade 1 winner on dirt and turf with wins in the Dawn and the Gulfstream Park Turf Handicap. So, again, Zierman, I think you could get a piece of this. I haven't lost the faith. Now, also going on Saturday at Leopardstown is the Group 2 KPMG Champions Juvenile. It's a win and you're in for the juvenile turf, and we're going to be waiting to see if Mogul, who's owned by Tabor, Smith, and Wagner, proves aptly named. The O'Brien trainee was second on debut at Gowan Park on yielding ground. He came back to score by 3 1/4 lengths at the Curragh over Good Going with Ryan Moore aboard, and he's going to be riding him this time. The second place finisher out of that race, Sheckham, came back to score by 2 3/4 lengths at Listowel. Now, Mogul, he's a son of champion racehorse and sire Galileo. Like Tappet, Galileo needs no introduction. And he's out of a mare named Shasti. I might be saying this one wrong, so I'm just going to call her Shaste. She's a stakes place daughter of the fleet-footed Danehill. And this makes Mogul a full brother to group winners Secret Gesture and Sir Isaac Newton. And Secret Gesture, she won the Milton Stakes and was second in the Upsom Oaks. She was also third in the 2015 edition of the Beverly D. She also put in a game, 5th place finish, beaten just 2 lengths in the 2014 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. And Mogul's dam, she's also a half-sister to Sagamix. And Sagamix won the 1998 Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. And the dam is also a half-sister to Sagacity, who won the 2000 Criterium de St. Cloud, which is a Group 1 race for 2-year-olds. And then their dam, Mogul's grandmother, was 1992's champion older mare in Italy. This is another name that's hard to pronounce. I'm going to say Saganeka. Okay? So, with that type of black type, you have, again, precociousness, and you have Grade 1 ability at 2. So, this horse, again, looks like he could be primed to take the Cape at PMG, and it's O'Brien and Moore for Tabor, Smith, and Magner. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Now, moving our attention to Sunday, we have more win and you're in action. We're going to turn our attention north to our friends at Woodbine, where they're going to be having the Summer and the Natalma Stakes. Both of these are Grade 1 events, offering birth into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf and the Juvenile Fillies Turf, and they're going to be run at the mile distance of those corresponding races. You know, the 3-1 favorite here, I think he has a shot, obviously. There's a reason he's, installed at 3-1 on the morning line, but that's still kind of a lukewarm favoritism, right? He is named Mystic Lancelot. He is entered for Todd Pletcher, Phoenix Thoroughbred, and he'll be ridden by John Velasquez. He won by 3 at first asking, so that is impressive, and that was going 5.5 furlongs on the turf at Saratoga. He beat Art Collector in that race, and Art Collector came back to score by 1 1/4 lengths at Kentucky Downs, getting a 77 Beyer. Now, as far as the pedigree goes, he is by Into Mischief. We already went over Into Mischief's pedigree when we were discussing the fact that the sales hopping filly at Keeneland is a sibling to Into Mischief, Beholder, Mendelssohn. So you probably don't need me to go back over that. But this is the first foal for a mare named Roadbug, who is a daughter of multiple Grade 1 winner Quality Road. And Quality Road is really a horse that could carry speed. He set track records in the Amsterdam, going 6.5 furlongs. Then he set track record winning the Florida Derby at, the mile and 1/8. And then he broke his own record when he won the Dawn. So, you always love to see that. But you might be saying, well, gosh, this sounds all like dirt pedigree, right? Even though Into Mischief's a half to Mendelssohn. But you have to remember that Quality Road, his dam sire is Australian Hall of Famer Strawberry Road. And Strawberry Road, he was a multiple Group 1 winner to get into their Hall of Fame, obviously. But, he won the Cox Plate. They actually did bring him over to contest the Breeders' Cup, too. He was second a neck to Pebbles in the 1985 turf. So there you have more grass pedigree to back up why they would place Mystic Lancelot here in the Summer Stakes. Another horse to keep your eye on is Keep On Trucking. His buyers have been pretty impressive, even though the pedigree is kind of under the radar. He is a gelding by Society's chairman. So Society's chairman won the 2010 Appleton Stakes, which is a grade 3 race. And he's also second in the Shadwell Turf Mile that year, but he only managed a 9th place finish in the Breeders' Cup Mile. But his daddy, Not Impossible, though unraced, was a full brother to Sovereign Champion grass horse Perfect Soul. So that's pretty cool. And these society chairmen have been really doing well up north, I've noticed. Keep On Trucking's mom, her name is Cobra, and she's an unraced daughter of Silver Train, who won the 2005 Breeders' Cup Sprint. Now, from a really petty geeky view, I find the one pretty interesting. This horse will be making his stateside debut for Joseph O'Brien, Cutter Racing, Mark DeTomp. Jamie Spencer's going to be riding. His name is Vitalogy. He's at 8-1 on the morning line. He was 4th, beaten 3 lengths last out in the Group 3 ACOM at York. But he's by No Nay Never. And this is a really cool thing when you sit back and think about it. No Nay Never, first of all, he was second in the 2014 Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, but he was also a Grade 1 winner. And not only was he a Grade 1 winner, but so is the first 5 sires in his sire line. So you've got Scat Daddy, because No Nay Never is the son of Scat Daddy. He won the 2006 Champagne and then was 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Scat Daddy's by Johannesburg, and Johannesburg was 2001's Eclipse and Cartier Champion 2-year-old. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Stakes, as well as Group 1s in the Middle Park Stakes, the Pre-Morny, and the Phoenix Stakes. Johannesburg is a son of Hennessy, who won the 1995 Hopeful and was just second, beaten ahead by Unbridled Song in the 1995 Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Then Hennessy's a son of Stormcat, and Stormcat won the 1985 Young America Stakes and just lost the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in the final jumps to Tasso. And then you have Stormbird, and Stormbird was 1980's top-rated 2-year-old in Europe. He won the National Duher Stakes. So that's just, Grade 1 precocity through and through that sire line. As far as this horse's dam, she is stakes placed. Her name is Sylvestris. She is by Super Derby champ Arch, which is fitting because this female family also includes Arkansas Derby champ Arch. And the family is also responsible for Hollywood Oaks winner Pattern Step and 2017's Pattison Canadian International Stakes champ Bullard's Alley. And Bullard's Alley was a cool horse. Now, the horse just to his outside, Decorated Invader for Clement and West Point, William Freeman and Sandbrook. It's going to be ridden by Arad Ortiz. He's also out of a daughter of Arch, and he's a half-brother to Jubilant Girl. She won the Runway Stakes. As you can guess, being named Decorated Invader, he's a son of Declaration of War. We discussed him earlier, but again, a multiple Group 1 winner. As far as the female family goes, it's produced the likes of Bandini, Stormy Atlantic, Hail Atlantis, traces back to Roughshod, and who's the dam of champions Ryden and Moccasin. And then her influence is also seen in the pedigrees of Nureyev and Gamely. So that's a pretty cool pedigree right there. And then as far as what he's already done, that debut race of his, it produced 2 other next out winners, maiden special weight winners at Saratoga, in addition to himself. Our Country won next out, getting a 72 buyer, and Enforceable getting a 63. That was a 1.8 miles on dirt. And Our Country was last 4th, beaten 2 3/4 lengths in the Grade 3 with Anticipation. Turning our attention to the fillies in the Natalma Stakes, I think I love this horse, okay? We'll see. Her name is Fair Maiden. I've discussed her on this show before. She's trained by Owen Hardy. She's a homebred for Godolphin. Flavian Pratt's going to be taking the call because Emma Jane Wilson, unfortunately, was injured in a spill. She's a daughter of multiple Grade 1 winner Street Boss. He set a new course record in the Bing Crosby, won the Triple Bend. He was also third in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. This is a really nice filly. I mean, she notched a 91 buyer, winning the Catch a Glimpse Stakes by 7.5 lengths at Woodbine. And then that's after winning her second start, which was over males. And she beat those boys by 14.5 lengths over Arlington's All Weather. She got a 90 buyer for that effort. She's out of Shield Maiden. Shield Maiden is a daughter of Smart Strike and out of a Giant's Causeway mare. Also of note is that this filly's great-grandmother is millionaire Secret Status. And Secret Status is a daughter of AP Indy. So we just said two names in there that provide stamina. Giant's Causeway, AP Indy. And Secret Status, she won herself. She won the Kentucky Oaks and the Mother Goose Stakes back in 2000. So we'll see if Fair Maiden's score in the Catch a Glimpse is a sign of things to come, because remember, Catch a Glimpse, she did pretty well in the Breeders' Cup, winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, and was 2015's Sovereign Horse of the Year. Then one horse, Walk in Marrakesh. She's an Irish-bred filly from Maribel Stables. Mark Johnston trains, Jamie Spencer rides. She was last third, beaten 3 3/4 lengths in the Group 2 Shadwell Prix du Calvados at Deauville, and that was over soft ground. So I'm looking for her to improve over firm. When we see these zeros come over, generally they're bringing their horses that are going to be best suited for the American turf scene. She's by Siuni. He was a Group 1 winner in France. The dam sire is 2004's Cartier champion, 2-year-old Chamardal. And the cool thing about Chamardal is he's a son of Giant's Causeway, who was 2000's Cartier Horse of the Year, second to Tiz now in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And Chamardal's dam is a full sister to multiple Grade 1 winner Street Cry. Street Cry won the 2002 Dubai World Cup, the Stephen Foster. He went on to sire Zenyatta, Winks, Street Sense, etc., etc. So that's already prime pedigree there, just the sire and the dam sire. But check this out. The dam, Walk in Beauty, her dam is named Zelda. And Zelda is a half-sister to two-time champion sprinter in England and France, Last Tycoon. And Last Tycoon won the 1986 Breeders' Cup Mile. This family also includes Grade 1 winners the United States and his full sisters Hydrangea. And Hydrangea, by the way, in addition to winning the Kitco British Champions Fillies and Mare Stakes and the Coolmore Fastnet Rock Matron, she was also second in the Dubai Fillies Mile, the Prix de l'Opera, and the Moigler Stud. And we'll talk about the Moigler Stud later. They're also siblings to Hermosa, who's still running. She won the 1,000 Guineas, the Irish 1,000 Guineas. She was third in the Moigler Stakes. And speaking of the Moigler Stud, that will also be run Sunday at the Curragh. It too is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. It's a Group 1. We have a field of 9 going postward, and it's headed by Albina. And she is owned by the Nyarcos family. She's trained by Jessica Harrington. It's going to be ridden by Shane Foley. And she's 2 for 2 coming off a win in the Group 2 Airlie Stud Balanchine Stakes. She's by Group 1 winner Zoffany and out of Fredonia. And Fredonia is a Group 2 winning daughter of Selkirk. Selkirk won the Group 1 Queen Elizabeth Stakes in 1991 and was 5th in the 1992 Breeders' Cup Mile. But another cool fact about Fredonia herself is that she was second to English Channel in the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. And furthermore, her grandmother, Forest Rain, this filly's grandmother, Forest Rain, is a half-sister to 2002's Breeders' Cup Mile champ Dome Driver. And you may recall Dome Driver is the horse that brought Rock of Gibraltar's 7 Group 1 winning streak to an end when he just nailed him in the Breeders' Cup Mile. And it's kind of cool to segue into this because a horse that's already qualified for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint is A'ali. A'ali, I've told you before, in Arabic, his name basically means the champion. And we'll see if that bears out. He's by Society Rock, and Society Rock, unfortunately, he passed away before his progeny even started running due to laminitis. But he is a son of the aforementioned Rock of Gibraltar. And, again, he was just sensational. Those Group 1 wins include the Grand Criterium, the Dewhurst, the 2000 Guineas, the Irish 2000 Guineas, the St. James's Palace, the Sussex, the Prix du Moulin de Longchamp. And, again, just nailed by Dome Driver in the 2002 Breeders' Cup Mile. Now, A'ali's dam, Motion Lass. She's by 2005's Epsom Derby champ and British Horse Racing Board's Horse of the Year motivator. And her half-brother Enforcer won the Group 3 Lexus Starley Stakes, picked up a couple of Group 1 show placings in the Coronation Cup and the Prix Von Europa. And a name which may be more familiar to American audiences is A'ali's great-grandmother, Willowy Mood. She won 14 races. Among them is the 1986 Barbara Fritchie, a handicap, and, and the 1984 Tempted, and both were at grade 3 level. She also got the Show Doe and the grade 1 Mother Goose of 1985. But this horse, he won birth already in the Norfolk Stakes, and then he took the Prix Robert Papin in Deauville. Sorry, I should have thrown a French accent on that because that did not sound right. But anyway, he was only 5th in the Group 1 Prix Morny, and his trainer, Simon Crisford, he felt that the heavy ground that day really mired the horse. But the reason we're talking about him is because he won today. He won the Group 2 Wainwright Flying Childers at Doncaster with Frankie Dettori aboard. And while this horse is not undefeated himself, with Frankie in the irons, he is. And I have some really nice quotes from the Racing Post as well as Racing TV about the victory. Frankie said he's a great little horse. Simon, his trainer, is thinking about the Breeders' Cup, and he's tailor-made for that. I always thought he wanted faster ground. He's just been unfortunate. And then, again, from the Racing TV outlet, we have some quotes from his trainer, Simon Crisford, saying that the horse travels superbly and he travels superbly well in his races, and he's got a change of pace. That's the key. He's an extremely easy horse to deal with. His attitude is excellent, and he's very straightforward. Frankie is unbeaten on him, and he can't wait to get to California. A sharp 5 on quick ground at Santa Anita will play to his strengths. He was already win and you're in from Ascot, and he deserves to take his chance. There's nothing for him left. And so another quote from Dettori also is, he won in Norfolk. He's got plenty of speed. I always thought good ground would suit him. The plan is to go to Santa Anita. He has a tendency to go left, so it will really suit him. So that's A'ali. We know he is Breeders' Cup qualified and Breeders' Cup bound for the Future Stars Friday card, November 1st at Santa Anita. Okay, that was a lot. I hope you hung in there with me. I hope you're enjoying your Friday. Don't get spooked. Don't be superstitious. Life is what you make it, right? I will be back here on Monday with updates on all these races, who won birth and all that jazz, and we'll see if maybe there's another interesting horse to come out of the Keeneland sale to discuss. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. All the best on all your bets, and this has been your Future Stars Forecast.